Welcome back to our channel. Have you ever felt like no matter how much you give, how much you sacrifice, or how much you try to love someone, it's never enough? You find yourself twisting into someone unrecognizable, hoping to meet their impossible standards, only to be left feeling more empty than before. If you're with a narcissistic spouse, this cycle isn't just familiar, it's your reality. But here's a truth you might not have heard enough. It's not your fault. And it never was. A narcissistic spouse operates in a way that creates a constant state of emotional neediness in their partner. At first, they're charming, attentive, and seem perfect. This stage is often called love bombing. They make you feel like the center of their universe, giving you glimpses of a relationship you've always dreamed of. But then the mask starts to slip. Compliments turn into critiques, admiration into disdain. You might hear phrases like, "Why can't you be more like them?" Or "You're so sensitive." Slowly, you begin to believe that their dissatisfaction is because of something you're doing or not doing correctly. And so, the cycle begins. You work harder, love harder, give harder, hoping to reclaim the person you fell in love with. But no matter how much you do, it's never enough. Why? Because the goalposts keep moving. To understand why you'll never be enough for a narcissistic spouse, we need to look at what drives their behavior. Narcissism, at its core, is a defense mechanism. Beneath the confident exterior lies a fragile ego, constantly in need of external validation. For a narcissist, relationships aren't about connection or mutual growth. They're about control and supply. Narcissistic supply is the attention, admiration, and validation they feed on to maintain their self-image. When you're meeting their needs, you're valued. When you're not, you're discarded, or worse, punished. Your efforts to please them will never fill the void inside them. That's their work to do, not yours. Being in a relationship with a narcissistic spouse often leaves you questioning your own worth. You might find yourself asking, "Am I too sensitive? Why can't I make them happy? What's wrong with me?" The answer is nothing. Nothing is wrong with you. Their inability to appreciate you isn't a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of their incapacity to love in a healthy way. The constant criticism, gaslighting, and emotional manipulation take a toll on your self-esteem. Over time, you might lose sight of who you are. But here's a vital reminder. You existed before them, and you'll exist after them, whole, worthy, and deserving of real love. One of the hardest truths to accept is that you can't fix a narcissist. Love, no matter how pure or powerful, isn't a cure for someone else's wounds. Narcissists often lack the self-awareness or willingness to change because admitting they have flaws threatens their fragile ego. You can spend years trying to be the perfect spouse, hoping that one day they'll recognize your worth. But that day might never come because they're not looking for someone to love. They're looking for someone to serve their needs. The most powerful step you can take is to shift the focus from trying to be enough for them to realizing you are already enough for yourself. This journey isn't easy. It's a process of unlearning the lies they've made you believe and rediscovering the truths about your value. Healing might involve setting boundaries to protect your emotional space, seeking therapy or support to rebuild your self-esteem, surrounding yourself with people who celebrate and uplift you. Many people stay in narcissistic relationships out of guilt. You might feel responsible for their happiness or fear what will happen if you leave. But staying doesn't help them, and it certainly doesn't help you. You deserve a love that builds you up, not one that breaks you down. Walking away isn't selfish. It's an act of self-preservation. Leaving a narcissistic relationship or even emotionally detaching within it is a journey. It's not a straight line, and there will be moments of doubt. But each step you take toward reclaiming your happiness is a step toward a better future. You will never be enough for a narcissistic spouse. Not because of your flaws, but because of their inability to see your worth. But the truth is, you are enough. You always have been. The real question is, when will you start believing it for yourself? Because when you do, That's when true healing begins. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care of yourself.